All right, we got Doc. Let's go out to the Boxer and Gerson guest line. Time for Cleared to Play. We'll take you inside the tent, get you updated on the latest injuries in the Bay. Proud to partner with UCSF Health on this segment and bring in Associate Professor of Orthopedic Surgery, Dr. Nirav Pandya. Doc, it's an easy first question, but it's one I hate asking because usually we ask you about injuries that have already happened, not the ones that haven't happened yet. But, man, we got to hear your thoughts on Sod Gate that's happening out there in Vegas. 49ers practicing right now and again tomorrow on a shoddy surface. What kind of danger are they looking at?
Yeah, I think it definitely is a consideration in terms of injury risk. So more than anything else, I think is when you change from what your normal training surface is, and then you go to a game and you're playing on a completely different surface. Your body can't adapt. You could theoretically be, using your muscles in different ways, and you can't train at the same speed. So that sets you up at a little bit of a disadvantage. Secondarily, you can on sod, even though you're not going to get your ACL injuries, those big kind of foot ligament injuries, you're more likely to get those twists, those slips, those little kind of pulls of muscles that could potentially then impact you in a game as opposed to playing on a nice stable surface. So I think it definitely is an issue. And if you do see, particularly in the first quarter or two, it seems like the 49ers aren't necessarily adapting very well. It could potentially play a role in the fact that they're playing on a different surface. It's like training for a marathon, but then running on sand the week before you go out and run. It's not going to set you up well to perform well, especially if you're depending on timing and speed.
So how the hell in the biggest game of the year do you just throw sod on turf? Like, I don't understand this process at all. It's like just throwing sod on the beach and say, yeah, you guys are practicing on the beach. Will it affect Kittle's toe at all when he's cutting on this stuff? What do you think?
I think it absolutely could, potentially. I mean, I think the fact is that whenever you're playing on a surface that isn't very stable, you're going to stress the toe more. So if this was just a quote-unquote sprain or a little bit of a muscle issue, you're suddenly using that foot in a very different way, and it could potentially cause a little bit of inflammation. So absolutely, I think this is a consideration going into the game.
Doc Pandya with us, Joe Thuney on the offensive line for the Chiefs. Here's the way I'll ask it because I'm no expert on his injury. But when you're dealing with something like he's dealing with, and it's been said that it's a slim chance that he'll play, when you're dealing with humans who are north of 300 pounds, is that like automatic that they heal slower?
Yeah, they do. I mean, because, the muscles, basically when you think about a muscle injury, because he has this pec injury, you're a bigger person, you have more surface area that needs to heal, and you're also going to be stressing that area a lot more than, say, a wide receiver. So when there's a slim chance at that size, number one, you have to worry about what's the risk of him tearing his pec completely and then needing surgery. And then number two, how effective can he be? Because if you've got a pec injury and you basically have to push and pull, you can't be effective at the guard position if that's the case. So the slim chance to me means he's probably not going to play. Yeah.
Let's get over to Warriors. CP3 is putting up shots in warm-ups. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, so he's about 4 weeks from the time of his finger fracture surgery, and that's usually with hand fractures where you can start doing stuff like throwing, shooting. You're really waiting these last 2 weeks to make sure that you can take contact. So he seems right in line for someone who's had a hand fracture. I think the key thing is, are those basic strength issues in terms of can he grip the ball effectively in a game setting? Can he take contact and then shoot? Those are the things that are going to take the next week or two. But this is a very positive sign that he's healing. And potentially, if he is going to get traded, it shows to other teams that, no, he's actually out there doing basketball stuff and is on track.
You're a doctor, so I would imagine patients come in and BS you all the time. Is that true?
Very true, yes.
Okay, so I'm imagining you've got a good BS meter. And so,
wait, what do they BS you about?
Yeah, right. They lie to you, right? No, I don't smoke. I don't drink.
My knee's not hurt. Yeah. My knee doesn't hurt me at all. I was fine, and it's like swollen. I'm like, I can play. I'm like, no, buddy, come on. So yeah, there's a lot of BS about how they're doing, and also how healthy they are.
Right. Yeah, and so with your BS meter, does Andrew Wiggins actually have a hurt foot, or they just not want to hurt him because they're about to trade him?
From an outside view, knowing that foot sprains in NBA players are usually pretty serious and they take a long time to kind of get back from, and there's a lot of implications. I think that potentially this is a little bit of protection of Andrew Wiggins, not knowing anything about his medicals. That's all I'm saying.
Doc calls BS. I had a feeling. I did. Hey, Doc, thank you.
Absolutely. Anytime, guys.
All right, Dr. Nirav Pandya. The proceeding was sponsored by UCSF Health.